Welcome to the Army Empire Podcast, your go-to podcast for insightful tips on investment strategies, entrepreneurship, and all things money matters. Join Bernard Alerte, your guide on this journey to financial freedom. Each episode will dive into expert advice, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned investor, we've got something for everyone. So get ready to unlock your financial potential and make your money work for you. And now, let's welcome your host, Bernard Alerte.
And we're back.
Hi, how you doing?
I see we have Eileen back with us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She with the fun part.
Listen, we had the intro going, and I don't know what was going on back there, but I saw him all like blowing her eye and stuff like that.
You're not supposed to see that.
I had such a high. Candid moments.
I just getting her warmed up. That's all for the podcast.
Let's start.
Listen, this is so much fun. I love jumping on here on Tuesday nights at 8:00 because it's like hanging out with my friends and learning. The wisdom is crazy. And of course, we already got Robert Crow ready here to take some notes. My husband is very faithful to this, as well as a few others that always watch, and they always send us messages. They post on their stories. We're so grateful for you all. This has really created, and I'm speaking very honestly here, intentional conversations between my husband and I. And as we're having conversations even with our children, because we're implementing the things that we are learning. And right now, we have a series that Coach has us on about marriage and money. And what are we talking about today, Bernard?
Oh, we talked about debt and credit. Last week, we hit a lot on the foundation, which is life insurance and wills. Now, we talk about debt and credit, how to say, debt. And then next we're going to talk about savings and investing, right? So we're going to spend a lot of debt, which is something, which is a topic that causes a lot of challenges, unfortunately, in weddings, and marriages. Marriages cause a lot of challenges, a lot of misunderstandings, mistrust. And that's something we want to alleviate. Like, let's say if someone's in that situation, to take the stigma out of it and to have the right mindset when it comes to it. And at the same time, and if someone's about to get married or looking into like the right way to look at it, to prepare, to be aware what needs to be done to avoid that situation. At least to be on the same page. As long as you're on the same page.
Right.
It doesn't matter what's happening. People go ups and downs, and I find that's normal nature. But as long as you are on the same page, you have the same goals, that makes a huge difference.
I agree with that, because there's, like I was talking to Liz, there's different stages in our marriage that there's times we will be in debt, but that's because we're getting into a house, or we're getting into not a used car, a new car. So it's not debt entirely is like, oh, you can't have that. It's there's good debt and there's debt for a season, but you got to be careful that it doesn't become cancerous.
Yes, absolutely.
Got you. And I guess being on the same page would mean having conversations and that the communication is there.
The hard conversations. The hard conversation has to have to happen early in a marriage. And if it's not, when is the best time to have a hard conversation? Now. Now, no matter where you are now, whatever time it is, the best time to have the hard conversations. But like we talked about, only the truth shall set you free. The hard conversations are the ones necessary for you to go in the right direction.
Excellent. All right. Well, I got my paper and pen. Let's get ready. Let's do this.
Let's take a look. Well, first, you need to have like a map. Like what kind of budget you need to have, right? And this is an ideal budget. This is not, everyone's in different situation, right? But this is ideal budget you want to have. So you have to create a budget together that you both can live with. Create a budget that you both can live with, right? Like, what would be the budget? Like, say 50% could be your needs, right? Let's say living essentials like rent, insurance, food, transportation, utilities, right? Things like that, like mortgage. Like 50% of your income should be that, okay? 30% should be your wants, like flexible spending item, like things that you want to spend money on, things you don't necessarily need, right? But you want to do, go out to dinner, go on vacations, you do as a couple, right? And 20% should definitely be savings between emergency and long-term savings, right? those are the ones that are like debt reductions scenarios like that. So 20% should be that. So now it's not ideal because it's not perfect. Like we talk about, the cleanliness of theory is no match for the mess of reality, right? Reality may not be the scenario, but that's something for you to strive for. And that's something like if you start early enough, right? You can, okay, hon, let's get to that point. Let's make sure we keep this under those thresholds, so that keeps you sane, in other words.
Yeah,
right?
for our daughters, from the beginning, let's talk about the first big expense is the wedding. I told them, none of you are going to have loans, credit. No, if you want to get married, you're going to plan and you're going to pay this cash. I mean, we, with obviously we helped, Bernard behind Sarah's back paid her wedding dress. We did things like that because we didn't want them to think that we were going to, pay for everything. But yeah, we had them mentally thinking, oh, we want to get married, we have to do this. So they saved like a year or two, and it was important. And both of them are not in debt from their wedding.
Mm-hmm.
One is what, a married half a year, almost a year.
A
year, and the other one 3-4 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
4 years, no more. I mean, 2019, looking at 6 years now.
6 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Absolutely. And the truth about that is very important for us, even as parents, right, to really have because our kids learn money habits from what they see from us.
Yes.
So it's very important for us to have the right mindset when it comes, because that's what they're gonna learn. That's what they're gonna learn, how they see their parents interact, right? And that's why it's so important to have the right habits, or have those conversations, and have conversations with them also while they're young, so they know.
Right.
Absolutely. Good. So if you look at the next one, right? Let's look at the next one, right? See, what you have to learn the debts, do's and don'ts, right?
Okay.
Number one, okay, you have to break bad debt habits. If you have some bad habits, you have to learn to break those habits, right? You have to, everybody has some kind of habits, right? It could be shopping, could be something. You got to learn how to break those bad debt habits, right? Second is, don't live beyond your means.
That's a big one.
Don't live beyond your means. One of the biggest challenges I see happening, which is couples, is you try to live beyond your means, or impress the Joneses, keep up with the Joneses, right? Impress other people. Don't do things to impress other people. Don't get, for example, this person has this. Don't look at other people. One thing I've learned something very important, guys. So let you know, there's people sometimes you see them, they have nice cars, nice houses. And sometimes I've had a lot of clients, and you go into finances, there's like no savings. They're struggling. They look good on the outside, but they're struggling on the inside because they have that. So don't let other people impress. Don't let social media impress. You look at social media, like, oh my God, this person. Those are we call fake wins, right? They're not real wins. Those are fake wins that you see happening. So, and that affects a lot of people, because you think, oh, this person is doing this. This husband got this for his wife, vice versa, or and you feel like out of it. You feel like you got to keep up. Don't keep up. See, a lot of times people spend money they don't have to impress people they don't like. You don't like these people anyway, so why are you trying to impress them, right? I don't like this person, so I'm gonna spend a whole bunch of getting into debt to show them I'm doing better than them. It just doesn't make sense, but that's what people do sometimes, Yes. Communicate honestly about your spending habits. Do communicate honestly about spending habits. Be honest. If you have a challenge, just be honest and communicate about it. Communicate about the spending habits. If you have something that you feel like you're struggling with, right, just communicate. Okay.
Or even ask questions like, babe, do you think that's necessary according to our pie, our budget? Does that fall into like that category that we have a goal? Can that wait? Or no, I need it. Okay. So maybe let's take care of this before we do this. So there's a compromise and there's an understanding. But if we're not communicating, like there was an episode I explained that I didn't understand why Bernard had 3 or 2 memberships. And it was important to him because one membership had the machinery and the other one didn't. And it's important to him because in his family, heart disease runs. So it's very important to him to work out. But I had to compromise and go, you know what? Okay, so then let's cut over here.
I'm down to 2 now.
I remember that episode.
Yeah, so that's an example of like, okay, why is that important to you? Instead of the, oh, that's not important, blah, blah, blah. Okay, questions. Why is that important? Does that fit in the goals that we spoke about? Does that look like something we need to revisit the budget? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And the last one, don't abuse your credit. Credit is so important these days. Like we talked about before, a couple of episodes, credit is sometimes more important than cash.
It's crazy.
It's the craziest thing. People judge you more based on your credit. You could have $1 million. You have $1 million cash. It means nothing. Some people was having $1 million credit available, and that means the world. It's true. I've seen people, for example, like they have the cash and they can't get in the house, they can't get in an apartment because the credit is not good. So,
wow, that's so crazy.
We're in this world right now, which is people judge you on the credit. Employers judging your credit. Where you rent, they look at your credit. You know, anything that you do, they look at your employer. Even employers look at your credit. Sometimes employers, like certain occupations, right, industries. Yeah. If you don't have good, they won't take you. They won't accept you. I feel
like credit is like a report card of your responsibility history.
Yes, that's exactly it.
And like Bernard said, employers, if you want to get an apartment, it's like I could pay a whole year. No, your credit.
It's a character. It's not good, but they look at your unfortunately they look at your credit. They look at your character based on your credit. The higher your credit score, the higher. That's the way they see it. It's incorrect. It's wrong. But that's just the way they see it. And we have to play the game instead of getting upset. Instead of getting upset, it's not fair. We just got to learn how to play the game and make sure we just don't abuse it and be very mindful of it.
And also not checking on it, because things could be happening in the background that are incorrect.
Absolutely.
And you're going to suffer the consequences for avoiding. Oh, like, I'm good. You know, I visited once every 6 months. No, you don't know. There's fraud. There's people taking people's Social Security. There's a whole bunch. So you should visit at least once a month.
Absolutely.
I visit every once a week.
You should know. I mean, you should know each other. And a couple of slides talks about that real quick. Says, let's go to the next one. If you look at the next one, you have to break. For example, what's more of a financial downer than debt? Two people's debts. What's more than some? It's two people's debt. So
a double whammy.
So like you talk more than half of newlywed, 50% work on debt to pay off their weddings, right? Like we talked about, tapping into credit cards, 30%. I mean, bank loans, you name, family loans, right? Just to see average. It's craziest thing. Most people like to spend more money. Like average wedding costs, like, I mean, 20, 30, 40,000. Right, sometimes. So because and the challenge is happening if people spend so much money on the wedding itself, but not on the marriage. And it's hurting the marriage after the honeymoon phase, right? We talk about it. It's, oh my gosh, how are we going to pay this? Then it causes stress. You're starting your life together on the wrong foot. You're starting your life togetherness. What should be an enjoyable time, you're stressed out. So you go to the honeymoon, oh my gosh, and you get the first bills. How are we going to start paying for this? It creates challenges, right? Among those who borrowed money, 48% they weren't expecting to go into debt like they were initially planned in their wedding. And that's what happens sometimes. So that's why people have some called micro weddings these days, very popular, smaller weddings, right? So it's so important to have that. So you have to plan early enough and make sure not to get into debt, those expenses. Make sure that you can pay it off right away. Sometimes wait or maybe have a smaller wedding, and eventually when things get better, you can have a big wedding, celebrate your 5 years or something like that. Do something out and be able to do that. So those are things that are so important to have, to make sure that debt's important going to a wedding, marriage. Good. Let's talk about don't live beyond your means. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, right? 6% increase from previous year. Average person is one paycheck away from a disaster. Average person, if you spoke to an average person, listen, let's say you're supposed to get paid on Friday. Let's say something wrong with your employer. They messed up your payroll. They messed up your paycheck. They messed up something. For literally 80%, 90% of people, that will put their whole financial picture in disaster.
Yeah.
It's just a reality, right? So this is why it's important to be aware and have those hard conversations. And the reason that's happening is because debt is is hurting so much, is affecting so many people out there. Sometimes it's not that people don't make enough money, they just have too much debt, right? Which is a major challenge. In other words,
it's very easy to acquire credit and then you feel like it's free money. No, this money has to be paid back.
Absolutely.
It has to be paid back.
Absolutely. And you have to have the right habits, the right conversations, what a lot of people are not willing to have early enough, right?
So good.
Absolutely. So if you look at the next slide, you have to communicate honestly about spending habits. While getting married doesn't directly affect your credit score, it can have financial implications that do. Right? Knowing what's in your credit report, like I talked about, understanding how your partner can affect each other, credit, and contribute towards a solid financial foundation for your marriage. It's a reality. It's a reality sometimes is when you're getting married, you have to look at your partner. Listen, it could be a great person, but you have to ask those hard conversations. Those have to ask, the person listen, I've made mistakes. We all made mistakes in the past, right? We all maybe mismanaged certain things, but you got to have those hard conversations. You have to ask, see, if you're thinking this person, you want to get married, this is the person you want to spend your life, you have to, okay, listen, now you see, you got to have, listen, where are you right now? I need to see, where are you? What needs to be worked on? Maybe the person has something wrong, but you can work towards, don't go blindly, work towards. So let's fix it then. Let's fix it before things happen.
You can't conquer what you don't confront.
Exactly.
So you have to confront it. Even if it's ugly, confront it. Say, yep, these are the student loans. This is this is that. You're like, what? But it is what it is. And you're able to
put it in deferment? No.
Exactly.
There's things that you need to have those conversations for sure.
But those are facts, because think about it. You start earning, making money, and you want to buy your mortgage, you want to get a house, and you find, oh my gosh, you need both incomes, and one partner's maybe credit is not where it needs to be. Right. So those are conversations you gotta have early enough. And if you're in that situation, have this conversation. It's the craziest thing. I've doing this for a long time, 26 years. I've done a lot of financial needs analysis, and I can count probably like dozens of time, Liz, where we gathering all the debt, find out where everybody's at, and where's it that you didn't tell me about this, you didn't tell me about that, you didn't tell me about that. You didn't tell me about that. And there's debts that one partner has, a husband or wife has, right? That the other one doesn't even know. Well, you didn't tell me about, and that creates, and I've seen arguments. I actually had to sit there like, oh Lord, something's about to pop off here, right? And arguments happening back and forth and things like that. So I had to come, listen, that's okay, guys. That's why I'm here to help and to calm things. I mean, I can imagine what happened when I left, right? I was like, oh my gosh, praying they're okay. But that's what happens because there's something called financial infidelity also.
Right.
There's things financial when you're not having right conversations, when you're hiding things. That's also a problem. Also, not knowing the person doesn't know this, and you gotta have if you're starting the relationship, the marriage on that note is bound to go wrong. You gotta have those really honest conversations, and it affects each other.
And I've seen it.
Go ahead.
I've seen it in the other perspective as a bankruptcy paralegal for 15 years. I saw events where we went to file a case, and then we found out that there was debt that the other person did not know about, and it wasn't included. And then the case gets pulled out, and the judge says no, because there's that financial infidelity that you just spoke about. What do you mean your wife has, and I'll find it out. I was like, there's a savings account of $14,000. You can't file bankruptcy. How does she get that money? And there's this, and there's another car. Where's that? There's a Lexus. What do you mean there's a Lexus? Yeah, it's under your wife's name. What?
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's touchy, but it happens. So you gotta have those hard conversations.
Again, those conversations have to be disarmed. It has to be listen, I've done mistakes. We're gonna make mistakes, but at least let's do them together, and then we could pull each other out. So if we could put all our cards on the table, then we could go forward in the right foot. Because it's the way we approach each other. If the person's scared or has something secret, it's because they're scared to bring it out. So you have to lead with love. And that's hard. because it's scary too, because oh my God, what does he have? So it's important.
Absolutely.
Emotions, a lot of people cannot do that, leave emotions out. That's the emotion I'm talking about, being scared. What is my spouse gonna think of me? And I'm telling this after we got married. And what Bernard's saying is be honest, is meaning be transparent, don't you got to give room for your spouse to be vulnerable, because that's the reason why they're not saying anything, because they don't feel
Absolutely.
Come on.
And you're doing this together, and you have to look at it. Listen, let's do this together. Okay, it's a challenge. We're doing this together. Okay, we're gonna get over this together. We're gonna work it together. And you have to, like Aline said, you have to disarm the person, make them feel that, it's not joke. Oh my God, you messed up and I'm perfect. And I see that happen a lot of times where you take care of this, I take care of that. I'm doing my part, you're not doing yours. And that's the worst thing, worst possible thing you can do for your spouse. And it's okay, well, it's your fault. You're not doing this right. You're and that's when you have division.
Yeah.
And that's when you have division and you have trust. You have to say, we're doing this together. We're fighting this together. We got married together, and we're gonna fight it. We're gonna get through this together.
And it's fixable.
But it's only fixable if there's unity. It's only fixable if you do it together, right? Two people together attacking a goal is such it's better than one person. Not only the person is trying to get rid of the situation, but they got to fight with you too. So they're fighting two battles.
Right.
They're fighting two battles. So on one aspect, you have to be able to do that too. Okay. So let's say if you look at it, and according to a survey like Backcredit, nearly 1/3 of Americans don't know their credit score, and that's something that people don't know. And you gotta know, you shouldn't. People do it. You don't have to every day, but at least every week, once a month, or something like that. And also, make sure you pre-plan what you're gonna get. Know your credit score in advance. Like if you're thinking of buying a car, look 6 months, a year in advance. Don't go and know in advance what you're gonna get. If you're gonna buy a home, should be a couple year process. It should not be something that's like just spur of the moment. Oh, let's just do it. No, you have to know in advance, plan in advance to be able to do that. You have to
put your things in order.
Absolutely. And those are the things that are important. So, because it's a very touchy when spouses with debt and things like that, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. You it's like honesty. Number one, be honest with each other, be willing to work with each other. But the earliest you can deal with it, the better off it is. I mean,
because it becomes a habit. Like, okay, let's talk about this. We want to get a new car. We're tired of this fixing the new car, the used car. We want a new car. Okay, so let's put a plan for 6 months. Let's put part of your check, part of this check, or maybe work on only my check. And so you have to work it out. But again, you got to give that space for that vulnerability of like, oh, I don't know if I could do that because I'm still paying this off. What do you mean paying what off?
It's bad. I've seen, and one thing I've seen is mine. This is, you take care of this. You did, this is your debt. This is my debt. And you handle that. And once you do that, it's not good. You divide already, and there's judgment, and there's a lot of, you're judging each other, and then it's like, it becomes a competition.
Yeah. And for those who are watching who don't know where to go to check their credit report, what would you respond? I check my credit report at least once a month. I check it at least once a month, once every 2 months.
I go to the free app on Credit Karma.
Credit Karma gives you
credit companies that they
gives
go
you
to.
a range. It gives you a range. It gives you an idea. At least make sure there's nothing there that shouldn't be there, right? And so those are things that are important. But you don't have to.
Credit Karma people.
Credit Karma gives you that free.
There's some places out there that will.
Free,
absolutely.
But I would not pay a credit counseling a whole. They have programs. Oh, you get in this program, you pay this amount, they negotiate. No, there's things that you could actually do. You call the company, you can negotiate interest, you can negotiate the amount, you can negotiate. You just have to communicate with the creditor. That's what they want. They don't want to be shut out. Don't answer the calls. Say, listen, You answer the call, you speak. This is where I'm at. I'm having trouble. I can't give you what I used to give you. What can we work on? Because that shows habits of not avoiding, not confronting, not taking responsibility. You used it. You ran up the card. You got to be responsible. You got to have integrity. We all have seasons where we get stuck or something happens that's not our fault. So the thing is, be responsible and speak to the creditor.
Yes, they will absolutely work with you. They will work with you. That is true.
Work together. This is like the whole thing is marriage and money. Work together with this. Talk about it, communicate. You need to know. And also, and I'm gonna step on some toes. Sometimes there's relationships where one partner takes care of the finances and the other one doesn't know what's going on. Or my husband takes care of that, or my wife takes care of that. That's not good. That's not good either. You need to know, because what happens is if something happens to either what happened to the spouse and it falls on you and you have no idea what's going on, and guess what happens?
No passcode,
and you don't know anything, and you need to know. So
don't know the name of any company.
If you're a partner and I'm gonna step on some toes again, if you're a control freak, you have to be able to give a little bit of control. You have to have this conversation. Honey, this is where we are. This is where you gotta be, because when something happens to you, if something happens to you, it's gonna destroy your family. You're gonna leave a mess behind. And I've seen it happen time and time and time again, where it's where it's, oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening. And you have calls, creditors coming after you, and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I deal with this? The spouse has no idea what's going on, doesn't know anything, and it creates a mess. So please communicate, have those hard conversations.
Also,
don't be ashamed about it. Don't be ashamed. There's no shame. You're together. You're married together, for rich or poor, for sickness and health. You can get through this together, but you can only get through this if you're working together. That is the only way. No judgment. And if someone's just no judgment, but work together towards it. And I'm telling you, it's gonna go. And if you're not sure, have someone step in. It's like we can come in, like even us, a financial, we can come in and guide them and have those conversations, educate them, and we can walk through it, and we can navigate. Or go to someone you trust if you need to, an advisor that's gonna look at everything for you.
There's also, in a marriage, there's strengths. Like he's very good with the future money, and I'm very good with like bills and budget. So even though we have our strengths, we still communicate both ways. Like, oh, we're putting this, we're moving this from here. I'm like, oh, okay, well, we need to pay this. This is more in priority. We need to knock this down. Let's wait on this because we're allocating monies in different places. So we have strengths. You may have one spouse that's very good with the finances, the other one's not, but that doesn't mean he should not know what's going on.
Right.
And it's not saying, oh, I'm doing it because I'm good at it. It's just, no, you communicate. Listen, in the budget, we have an extra $600. What do you think we should do with it? Should we put it short term or should we put it long term? So that's what I'm talking about. Even though we have strengths, we shouldn't not communicate on a monthly basis of what's happening financially.
Absolutely.
Right. So good.
And a couple might be better than the other couple. I'll give you an example. The dynamics with my I can remember my mom and dad, right? My dad's screen was actually it was actually reversed, where most of the times is the man that's in charge of the money, finances. My dad, literally, my mom handled all the finances in the house. I see my mom handle, and she was very good at it. She was very, very good at it. My mom has done very good at it. Even my mom's 82, 84 years old. Almost 84 years old right now. And she knows everything. She knows what every dollar is, right? Everything. And she handled it. And my dad understood, even though grew up in traditional where the man is the head of the household, but he understood that my mom was so much better at that. So he let my mom handle it. That aspect of it. And my dad really didn't know how much money he made. He actually did check. He had no idea how much money he made. Only thing he said, you handle everything, right? Which wasn't good either, because he didn't know. But towards the end, he started learning what was happening. And my dad passed away before my mom, unfortunately, But this is he understood that she was better at that. And at the same time, one thing he says, he loved computers, he loved photography. I just want when I get my photography stuff, let me get it, right? But you can't know everything. They've done pretty good. I mean, she's very, very good at that. She's very good at managing and very good at that. But he understood that she was better at it, even though traditionally the man should be, but it was something that he had to, because your spouse might be better at that in certain things. There's certain things
accepting that. Mm-hmm.
I'm an A personality, right? And she's more like structured, she's very structured, you can tell, right? Very structured, very structured. But that's the strength that she's very, very good at. That's very good at. So there's some things like in our business office, like she handles that. I let her take care of that because she's much better at that. Even though I would want to do it, but she's much better at it than I am. And you understand to use each other's strengths.
To work together.
Each other's strength. And we all have different strengths, work together. And if you work, and again, to close out, if you work together as a couple and you attack it together, now this is yours, this is mine, and you doing your part, I'm doing. And when you work together, I am telling you, great things can happen. Great things can happen. It might take a little time to get it going, but it will work out because it looks like you're doing it together.
So good. So good. And Bernard, this is a 4-part series?
4-part series, yes.
Hey, this was 2. This was 2 today. If you didn't watch the first one, please watch the replay. It's on YouTube. Go in there and watch the replay from last week, which had to do with wills, right? And life insurance.
Yes.
Today, we're talking about debt and credit. We just wrapped that up. And then next week, we have another great topic. So you don't want to miss it. Catch the entire series and send it to somebody. I mean, this is really, really good stuff. Ain't that right?
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Yes. Thank you for sharing the wisdom that you've shared today. And of course, having your wife with us. We always love having Eileen with us to share her side and perspective.
2 more weeks.
we got 2 more weeks with Eileen. Yay!
She's like, I'm taking a break.
And she'll go on a break and then we'll have her back. Yeah.
Absolutely.
This has been excellent subject, and share this with somebody that you know who needs to hear this and rewatch it because there's so much great stuff here. We love hanging out with you every Tuesday at 8:00. Thank you for those who have been watching on YouTube, on Facebook, and live on Instagram. We will see you again next week. Thank you so much, guys. Be blessed.
Be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next week for another exciting edition, and until then, keep building your empire.